Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
A winter weather advisory is in effect for tomorrow in parts of our area. I'll have the updated hand-drawn WRAL snow forecast coming up.
Winter weather preps. Road crews are hard at work, spreading brine on roads and bridges ahead of tomorrow's precipitation.
And 911 calls released. We're hearing the calls for help the moment the Raleigh Convention Center roof ignited in flames.
Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. A storm system arrives tonight with a chance for wintry weather in our northern counties. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Levigan. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Joining us this afternoon now, we know that road crews are already busy brining the roads. They're spreading them on the main roads and bridges to eliminate slick spots. That is why we have team coverage of our first dose of winter weather. But we want to begin with WRAL's Kat Campbell with a look at the timing for this precipitation.
Well, it's all going to start after midnight tonight. It's going to take a little bit of time for there to be enough moisture in the atmosphere, going with about 1 a.m. for it to begin. What's new at noon? We are hearing from the National Weather Service a winter weather advisory will not be expanded at this point after looking over the new model data. That means Wake County, you are still not included in the winter weather advisory. We'll let you know if that changes today at 4 o'clock on WRAL News with the next update. But Durham included, as well as Chapel Hill up to Roxborough, Henderson, Oxford, Roanoke Rapids included in this as well. Here are some of the communities in purple that are under the winter weather advisory for tomorrow. Snow, sleet up to an inch is possible for those communities under the winter weather advisory. And here in blue, there could still be a brief period of a wintry mix, some sleet before this changes over to cold rain for Raleigh. And then to the south, it is just cold rain for the most part tomorrow. Let's talk about temperatures and when this begins. Even though Futurecast is showing a few blips here through midnight, the thing is the air is still going to be pretty dry at the surface. So I actually don't think that this is going to be reaching the ground. 1 a.m. is going to be the time to watch for when we could start to actually see some of this reach the ground, though between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. anything would be very, very light that does reach the ground. 4 a.m. it's 29 in Roxborough, 28 South Hill, so that would likely be snow falling there. Mid-30s still in Durham and Raleigh. Durham does get down to 32 tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Not quite there in Raleigh, upper 20s to the north, so it's mainly north of Wake County where we have that rain-snow line setting up for us. Still some rain around, cold rain at noon, but it moves out of here by tomorrow afternoon. Coming up, I'll have a closer look at our travel map. I'll let you know which areas have the greatest threat of some icy spots on the roads.
Kat, thank you. Transportation crews are out preparing the roads ahead of the expected winter weather for tomorrow. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live off of I-40, and based on the forecast for the Triangle of Destiny, I'm sure crews are focusing their efforts in specific places.
Renee, we are expecting wet and possibly icy roads out here tomorrow. The spokesperson with NCDOT tells me that they started brining roads here in Wake County today. Take a look at your screen. Sky 5 actually captured some of that. We saw crews out there brining the roads ahead of this possible winter storm, this winter weather that we're expected to see on the major interstates. The spokesperson with NCDOT tells me that they're brining all of the roads up in Person County because that's where they're expecting to get the worst of it. Here in Wake County, though, transportation crews are focused primarily on bridges and elevated surfaces. Our meteorologists, as you just heard from Kat, they do expect this wintry mix to fall in the morning, so they expect it to impact the morning commute. NCDOT says that they have crews ready for that as well.
We're going to have more people out on the roads to help you if you find yourself in a crash. They're going to be looking for problem spots, and they're going to be there for you if you run into a problem.
Now, she tells me that they also have extra salt, snow plows, and contractors on standby as this system moves through our area. She also says that if the forecast happens to change and the conditions are expected to be worse, she says that they do have time to put down extra brine if needed. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News 11 Raleigh.
Destiny, thank you. We have a pretty good idea about NCDOT preparations. Now we're getting a closer look at how local governments are getting ready for wintry weather. Right now, the city of Durham is making sure brine is covering city-owned bridges on roads like Roxborough and Duke Street. Salt trucks are also being filled, but will not be salting the roads unless it's needed. In total, Durham has 500 tons of salt and two 3,500-gallon tanks of brine.
And you can count on WRAL's team of meteorologists to keep a close eye on the system. Stay connected to updates anytime with the WRAL weather app, but make sure you turn on your push notifications. That way you get important alerts sent right to your phone. And WRAL will have team coverage of our winter weather beginning at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Our meteorologists will provide up-to-the-minute updates as that system moves through. And we'll have reporters live in the field checking on road conditions, snowfall, and ice accumulation. Again, that is tomorrow morning starting at 4 a.m.
We now have the 911 calls that came in the night the Raleigh Convention Center caught on fire. Elizabeth Holmes went through about a dozen calls. She joins us now with what they reveal. Elizabeth.
Well, this gives us a timeline for how this all played out. We're learning that the first calls came in just before 9:30 on Monday. Within 5 minutes, first responders started blocking off the scene. Then 5 minutes after that, Enbridge Gas was called to turn off the gas in the building. Now at 9:54 p.m., dispatchers said part of the fire was under control. It was later ruled completely under control at 10:28. Now it's important to note the first calls coming in for the fire were from people in nearby apartments or businesses who are watching this all unfold. Take a listen.
I'm just looking out the window and the convention center is on fire.
The convention center is on fire, massive fire. The smoke is billowing to the sky, it's huge fire. The whole building is going to be in flames in a few minutes. It's growing very much. Oh my God.
Now, we know the convention center canceled all December events. Today, we learned that the NC Tech Award celebration scheduled for December 9th was moved to the Raleigh Marriott Crabtree Valley. Renee.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you. And because all those events have been canceled for the month of December at the convention center, one downtown hotel says refunds may be available for guests who were affected by the fire. Staff at the Marriott City Center say event changes have caused roughly 125 room cancellations. The general manager told us nearly half of the hotel's business is tied to events at the convention center on any given week. WRAL reached out to other hotels in the area to see if they will offer refunds, and we have not received a response.
We have breaking news we're following this afternoon. A man charged with killing 3 of his children and a stepchild will face the death penalty if convicted. Wellington Dickens appeared before the judge just moments before this newscast. Investigators say Dickens called 911 in October to confess to the crime. Police found the children in the trunk of a family car in the garage. Dickens is being held without bond, and he's due back in court in March next year.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, an update to the 2022 Hedingham mass shooting in Raleigh. Attorneys for Alston Thompson filed several new motions. Thompson was not present in court, but his attorneys were. They mentioned that they intend to file more pretrial motions, all of them aimed at narrowing down who will sit on the jury and decide Thompson's guilt or innocence in that shooting. One of the additional pretrial motions will be related to trying to suppress certain evidence. That should be filed in the next week or so. The judge did set a January 5th deadline. Trial is still scheduled to start in early February.
People living on Dupree Street in Durham are reporting a series of car break-ins. Our team was there as police arrived to broken car windows and shattered glass along the sidewalk. Nearly 10 cars were damaged, and we're working to learn what was stolen and if police have made any arrests in this.
New at noon, a local chip maker that faced financial troubles just got a big cash boost. Durham-based Wolfspeed says it received almost $700 million in tax refunds from the IRS. The money comes through a program under a law passed in 2022 meant to boost domestic chip production. The company has faced money challenges in recent years. It emerged from bankruptcy in September. Last year, it had to lay off hundreds of workers. Wolfspeed says it plans to use some of the cash to pay off its remaining debt and boost manufacturing. Stocks are struggling for direction this noon hour as investors grow more confident in a December interest rate cut from the Federal Reserve. The Dow is down 70 points at this hour. The S&P 500 is staying flat. NASDAQ is up about 40 points.
And back here on the WRAL Live Center, we have just learned that Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon could be close to selling a portion of the NHL franchise. Now, they declined to comment to us about any potential sale, but multiple media outlets are reporting on this plan. Dundon bought a majority stake of the team back in 2018 and the rest of the franchise in 2021. Reports are indicating the sale would put the value of the team at $2 billion. Dundon is separately leading a group that is buying the NBA's Portland Trail Blazers.
Dave there. Thank you, Michelle. Next at noon, Caribbean strike saga. The U.S. Navy admiral being questioned in attacks on alleged drug boats and why he's defending a follow-up strike on survivors.
Close call ejection. See the moment right after an Air Force pilot escaped their jet before it crashed.
Plus, their future workplace. See how local students got a taste of the jobs they'll one day have while earning credentials for them right now.
Coming up next, see storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
A highly respected career Navy SEAL at the center of a September boat strike that killed survivors is on Capitol Hill today. Earlier today, Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley briefed members of the House and Senate Armed Services Committee on that strike, as well as a broader military campaign in the Caribbean Sea. Earlier this week, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said he did not see survivors after the first strike. The new reporting on the second strike has raised controversy over whether that strike was legal or could potentially constitute a war crime. The New York Times is suing the Department of Defense over the Pentagon's new restrictions on press access. Under the agreement, journalists could no longer gather or report information without Hegseth's authorization. Beat reporters turned in their press passes in October rather than sign on to those restrictions. The suit seeks the repeal of the new policy.
A man and his son survived a very intense car crash in California in which the person responsible died. You can see the moment a car speeds through the intersection right here and then slams into Mark Aaron's car. He says he was singing Christmas carols in the car with his son before that crash happened. Good Samaritans rushed over and pulled them from the car. And Aaron's has numerous cuts and bruises, but his son walked away with no injuries.
I was just shocked that he was looking completely normal. He looked completely normal. Couldn't believe it. I hope I have a long life ahead of me, but I've had an amazing life. But you want your kids to have a long life, too.
Of course, man. Go ahead. Let those tears flow. I understand. The driver who caused that crash lost control, hit several more cars, and went airborne, and he died.
An Air Force Thunderbird pilot is recovering after safely ejecting from the aircraft moments before it slammed into the ground. Video captured by a witness shows a fireball arising from the impact. You can also see the pilot parachuting to the ground. The incident took place during a training mission. This was in a desert area about 130 miles from L.A. An environmental response team is dealing with any toxic materials from the crash. The FBI has arrested the man they believe planted pipe bombs on the eve of the January 6th siege on the nation's capital. You're looking live at the home over Prince William County in Northern Virginia that agents say is tied to the suspect. Investigators say Brian Cole placed one pipe bomb near the Democratic National Committee headquarters and another near the Republican National Committee headquarters in January of 2021. The FBI is expected to provide more details about the arrest at a news conference later today.
For the first time, the public is getting a look at the notorious Caribbean compound owned by Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released more than 150 photos and videos of that mansion. It's a small fraction of the 5,000 images the committee obtained. Some include framed photos of the famed financier, and it also has videos of the pool area, bedrooms, and bathrooms. Many say that Epstein used to groom and traffic young girls for sex here. Durham police are investigating a crash on Highway 55. That happened around 9 o'clock near Courtney Creek Boulevard. What you're seeing here is the scene from the view of Sky 5. We're working to find out if anyone was seriously hurt, how this happened, and if there are any charges.
Check this out. Many of you sent us pictures of the ring around the moon last night. The phenomenon is called a halo moon. Ice crystals in certain cloud formations cause this to happen. Now, in order for this to happen, you do need colder weather. Meteorologist Chris Michaels has written about this topic on WRAL.com. Search Ask the Meteorologist. Such a cool spectacle.
It is, but yeah, obviously it has to be cold enough for that to happen, as we were just talking about. And it's definitely cold enough today and tomorrow as well. That's why tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day, but it's the precipitation, Kat. That's what really has your eye right now.
Oh, absolutely. So let's get right into it. The timing for winter weather tomorrow would be between about 1 a.m. and noon. There could still be wet weather afternoon, but it would just be rain after that time likely. The impacts that we're looking for: slick roads, especially bridges. This is primarily north of I-85, and that's where you'll find more of a snow-sleet mix. Luckily, the freezing rain threat with this setup does not look significant, which is wonderful news for us. Any icing would be just a very, very minimal glaze. So let's get right into our hand-drawn snow forecast. First off, let me pause and say this accounts for a mixture of both snow and sleet here. The areas in blue, about an inch of snow sleet possible. That includes Roxborough, Warrenton, Lake Gaston, and then less than an inch of snow and sleet for a line north of Rocky Mount and Raleigh. That could extend as far south, though, as Durham. This is our in-house model showing really no accumulating snow up toward Durham and Rocky Mount, but about an inch in Roxborough and South Hill. And this is our newest run that is in. As for freezing rain, just to reassure you, this is less than 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain everywhere, and that's good news for us. So let's get right into the travel impacts. Slick roads are possible for the areas in orange. That's where we'll have more likely travel impacts, and some slick bridges are possible for the areas in yellow. But if you're in yellow, the travel impacts would really mainly be limited to bridges. Any parents watching right now of kids wanting to know about school know that we do not make that call in the weather department for school. But I would plan on, if you're included in the winter weather advisory, more than likely you may have some impacts to the school schedule. So stick with us at 4 o'clock. We'll let you know if that is expanded at all, the winter weather advisory, after looking over the new models. Looking ahead tomorrow, we start out with cold temperatures, and they don't budge much from there throughout the day. Just stay cold, miserable rain with temperatures in the 30s through much of the day around the Triangle. Looking outside today, we're at least in the low 50s in the Triangle, 45 though in Fayetteville, where the thick clouds are already there. The evening commute still dry tonight, no issues there. Temperatures in the mid-40s at 7 o'clock. And here comes our next weather maker from the southwest. You can see it already closing in on South Carolina at this point. Just remember, the air is still relatively dry, so it's going to take a little time for any of that to actually reach the ground. Even if you look at your radar on the WRAL weather app tonight, it could be one of those situations where initially some of that precipitation evaporates before it ever reaches the ground. So we'll keep you up to date throughout the day, and of course throughout the day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. We went ahead and declared that yesterday for tomorrow due to the winter weather threat. Over the weekend, just some small chances for rain. For the most part, it's cool and cloudy this weekend, and we stay cold next week. Check out that 22-degree low Monday night into Tuesday morning.
Oof.
I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that tomorrow we're not even going to get out of the 30s. That's pretty cold already. Well, coming up on our news this afternoon, Into the Upside Down. A Durham drama teacher appears in the newest season of Stranger Things. Today at 5:30, we talk with her about her role in the hit show.
Plus, home for the holidays. Countless families lost their homes during Hurricane Helene. Tonight at 6, though, 5 on your side shows how our reporting helped get one family back into their home. Midwives, more than just people who deliver babies. Just ahead, the surprising ways that midwives keep women healthy for years.
Also, more winter weather preparation. How the city of Durham is getting ready for the possible wintry mix coming tomorrow morning. When you think of midwives, you likely think about delivering babies, but they do much more than that. Midwives can also provide annual gynecology exams. Emily Gibbs shares one woman's experience.
4 little boys keep Samantha Widman on her toes.
Handful.
Her littlest, just a few months old, a healthy birth, she credits to her midwife.
The midwives took an approach of like, how would you like this to go? Or like, what are your expectations?
Samantha expected care to stop after birth, unaware her midwife could provide care beyond delivery.
Do I have to go to an OB for this? They're like, no, you can schedule with our midwives. I was like, oh, good to know.
She's not the only woman shocked to learn this. In a new survey from the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, nearly all Americans think midwives only provide pregnancy and birth support. That's not true. Michaela Ward is an advanced practice registered nurse and a certified nurse midwife at Ohio State, qualified to manage women's health needs.
We are highly trained, we're highly skilled, we can take care of you, even if there is something that's high risk or more complex about you or your health.
And Michaela is not working alone. She's part of a team where maternal fetal medicine specialists are only a phone call away.
Our common goal would be to empower women to make choices for their health.
From the first menstrual cycle to menopause, guiding women through transition is where they excel.
We focus a lot on education. We spend a lot of time with our patients.
Samantha found comfort in knowing her midwife will keep her healthy for years to come.
They did like an excellent job.
And did you know midwife literally means with woman, a reflection of their holistic approach to care? Midwives are covered in the same capacity as their physician colleagues.
Ralph Lauren will outfit the U.S. Olympics and Paralympic teams for the 10th time this year with the brand's take on an Italian aesthetic for the opening ceremony. Part of an overall multi-piece set for the athletes that includes pants, sweaters, jackets, and other parts there. U.S. athletes will arrive for the opening ceremony dressed in winter white wool coats with Team USA engraved in wooden toggles, an American flag turtleneck sweater, and wool trousers. The brand began their modern partnership for the 2008 Beijing Games.
Some are tiny ice skaters to, giant, guys who are in bobsleds. You have to understand size and fit. You have to understand what makes an athlete feel good. And you have to work with diversity of talent.
You can catch all the excitement of the Winter Olympics from February 6th through the 22nd right here on WRAL. The Paralympics take place the 6th through the 15th.
Winter weather preps, how the state DOT is stepping up efforts to keep roads clear as possible ahead of tomorrow's WRAL Weather Alert Day.
Plus, student teachers, how a group of students is helping community heroes communicate with immigrants. We do have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers right here on your screen.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Well, there's a storm system arriving tonight with a chance for wintry weather in our northern counties.
We are closely monitoring the forecast, and we will be on a half hour early tomorrow morning to help keep you safe and let you know what's happening out there. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center now with a look at the types of precipitation we could see and the timeline for all this.
Well, tomorrow, cold rain for our southern counties, but our northern counties are looking at a mix of snow and sleet primarily. This doesn't look like a big freezing rain event for us, which is good news. But let's get into the forecast. It's mainly north of Raleigh where we could see some light accumulation of snow and sleet highlighted here in gray, and that does include Durham, Lewisburg, now Roxborough, and up toward the Virginia line in blue. That's where there could be closer to an inch of accumulating snow and sleet. So here's the latest. This blue line that you see right here, this is our new model run, and that's outlining the 32-degree line. North of it, it's 32 or lower. South of it, it's above freezing. And you can see where that line sets up around 4 a.m., extending very close to Durham and Lewisburg, still north of Raleigh and Rocky Mount at that time. By 6 a.m., it gets very close to Raleigh, Rocky Mount, and Siler City. So there could be that brief overlap in that very brief period of time where we see some sleet and snow snowflakes mix in with the rain, but it's a pretty narrow window of time. And then really the precipitation moves out of here after that. So you wouldn't have to worry about anything falling after that. Now, as we look ahead toward the evening commute, much drier weather is expected. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of light drizzle, but it would mainly be rain for the early afternoon. After that, though, the rest of the day Friday looks drier. I'll have a closer look at your complete weekend forecast coming up.
Kat, thank you. NCDOT is brining elevated surfaces like bridges today ahead of tomorrow morning's winter weather. Local municipalities are also getting involved. WRAL's Monica Casey takes us inside the City of Durham's winter weather facility.
With 500 tons of salt and 2 tanks of 3,500 gallons of brine, the City of Durham is ready for this storm and any others that come our way this winter.
We service the vehicles pulling up to place brine in their tanks.
Brined and ready, Durham employees are preparing city-owned bridges and overpasses, putting a couple hundred gallons on those roads.
We anticipate that the temperature will drop where we may have some slippery areas there on the bridges.
Philip Powell tells me those include overpasses on Duke and Roxborough streets. While this weather arrives tomorrow, the crews have been doing dry runs for months.
We start in the summer with first of all, with our equipment, preparing our equipment, ensuring that it's ready.
City crews are also loading salt to be on standby if needed. In Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
As a follow-up, Durham City officials say they decided to brine the primary routes throughout the city in addition to the bridges.
Transportation teams are out preparing the roads ahead of the expected winter weather for tomorrow. Sky 5 has already captured trucks that are on the road, brining the major interstates. And our meteorologists expect the wintry mix to fall in the morning, so they expect it to impact your morning commute. Now, here in Wake County, transportation teams are focused on bridges and other elevated surfaces. You can count on our team of meteorologists to keep a close eye on this system. Stay connected to updates anytime with the WRAL weather app, but make sure you turn on your push notifications to get those important alerts right to your phone. And we'll have team coverage of our winter weather beginning at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Our meteorologists will provide up-to-the-minute updates as that system moves through, and we'll have live reporters in the field checking on the road conditions, the snowfall, and ice accumulation. Again, that's tomorrow morning starting at 4 a.m.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, an update to a story that we brought you about 20 minutes ago. The FBI arrested a man that they believe is connected to the pipe bombs, the planted pipe bombs on the eve of the January 6th attacks on the nation's capital. Authorities were at the suspect's home. This is in Northern Virginia, Prince William County. Agents say this is the home where the suspect lived, Brian Cole. They were searching cars on the property. You can see a lot of crime scene tape up around that home. The suspect's step-grandfather told NBC News that he spoke with the FBI about his step-grandson, but he declined to comment further. Investigators say that Cole planted one pipe bomb near the Democratic National Committee headquarters and another near the Republican National Committee headquarters in January of 2021. They did not go off. Now, it's unclear how investigators finally cracked the case or what charges Cole may face. A news conference will be happening later today to officially announce his arrest.
Thanks, Michelle. Imagine seeing your future workplace before you even graduate from high school. This week, students from the Durham Early College of Health Sciences toured Duke Health for the first time. Students are getting real-world experience in nursing, surgical tech, and other fields. They are doing this while also earning healthcare credentials or associate's degrees before graduation.
We have clinical trials, surgical tech, nursing, medical assisting, and all these different things. And the trips that you get to go on, they really brighten up your mind and they really show you what you can do and what's capable of being done in these different aspects of the medical field.
And then they let us know. The Early College is a unique partnership between Durham Public Schools, Durham Tech, and Duke Health to prepare a homegrown workforce in high-demand healthcare careers. When the students finish high school, they'll have immediate opportunities to start careers at Duke Health. Aprendiendo Español, how firefighters learn to say that and more useful phrases after a special visit from students.
And still rocking it, how a former Rockette keeps sharing her passion for dance well into her 80s. Good afternoon, Roxborough. That's where you're looking live right now as you're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. Firefighters now have a new tool to help save lives. Students from a high school Spanish class in Missouri took a field trip to their local fire department, and they spent the day with firefighters and taught them Spanish. The firefighters were taught common phrases in Spanish that they can use while responding to fires.
If you're in an emergency medical scenario and you can't communicate with the person who's having the emergency, it makes our job a whole lot harder.
In addition to the PowerPoint presentation, students created note cards for the firefighters as well so they could learn Spanish as best as possible.
87 and still kicking. A New York Senior Center honored a former Rockette and dance teacher. Jean Widlicka, or Mean Jean, as she is lovingly called by her students, has been teaching dance for decades. She started teaching at a senior center more than 25 years ago. Throughout the class, she repeats the phrase, "Let's show them what we can do." She began dancing at age 3. Many years later, she took her place in line as a Radio City Rockette, something she says she never considered.
And I'm thinking, does anybody know they're in like a bathing suit, next to nothing? You have to look beautiful. They're freezing to death. Give them a coat.
Mean Jean says one of her greatest passions has been her teaching. She founded the Moving Miracles National Dance Company in 2004, a dance ensemble for those with all levels of ability. Oh, and about her nickname, Mean Jean says she is mean in order to push people to their fullest potential. A little tough love, but a big heart.
All meant for positivity. I love that. Playing hide and seek.
I think everyone's in shock. It was a lot of, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my gosh, what do we do? What's going on?
What do they do? What was going on when this unexpected guest waddled into a bar and caused a bit of confusion? How customers stepped in to get this seal to a more suitable environment.
And home for the holidays. How 5 on Your Side is helping a couple displaced by Hurricane Helene. A new home and a new beginning after months of heartbreak. A Western North Carolina couple displaced by Hurricane Helene is finally getting a fresh start. And it all began with a 5 on Your Side report. Keely Arthur has an incredible update from Avery County.
This story makes me so happy. That couple sitting down there, Bob and Edwina Tatum, were like hundreds of thousands of other people displaced by Hurricane Helene. They didn't get an insurance payout. They didn't get much from FEMA. And that is when 5 on Your Side and Samaritan's Purse stepped in.
We have a brand new, gorgeous home.
It's a homecoming 14 months in the making. How much did insurance cover for this? Back in February, 5 on Your Side introduced you to the Tatums, a Minneapolis couple whose home, along with their 2 cats and 2 horses, was swept away in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Despite paying for home insurance for decades and pleading for federal assistance, the Tatums received almost nothing to help them rebuild.
It's just been miracle after miracle.
But months after our story first aired, it caught the attention of Reverend Franklin Graham, the CEO of Samaritan's Purse.
I said, look, get some people and go there and find that car.
He decided the Tatums weren't going to face this alone. The nonprofit built them a brand new home less than a mile from where their original house once stood. Coming up at 6 tonight, only on WRAL News, I'm going to tell you how you can help even more families like the Tatums who were devastated by Hurricane Helene. Reporting in Minneapolis, North Carolina, Keely Arthur, 5 on Your Side.
Business owners at a salon in Cary want answers because they were served with an eviction notice over rent payments they say they did pay. This happened to tenants at Phoenix Salon. They were surprised to learn the payments they made were not reaching the actual landlord. Stylists we spoke with say the person who was taking the rent payments was not the owner. The eviction notice was served because 3 or 4 tenants were not paying rent.
and we always thought he owned it. And he says his hands are tied because he turns the rent money in, but apparently somebody above him has not been paying it.
There are almost 30 businesses in this building that more than enough cover the rent. So we don't understand how, since June, the rent has not been paid. Not one penny.
The president and CEO of Phoenix Salon Franchising responded to a message from WRAL. He says the location is independently owned and they are working with the landlord to find a solution.
As the temperature drops, we are reminded that not everyone in our community can purchase warm winter gear, but you can help through WRAL's annual Coats for the Children campaign. Now through December 31st, we need your help to gather as many coats, hats, and gloves as possible. To find a neighborhood Jiffy Lube drop-off location near you or to make a monetary donation, scan the code on your screen or go to WRAL.com/coats. Help WRAL and the Salvation Army spread warmth and hope. You'll definitely need those warm coats tomorrow for sure, with temperatures only in the 30s. And then, of course, we could get some precipitation on top of that.
And with gloves, obviously, hats are needed as well when you're trying to get those donations out. We have Kat Campbell right now talking a little bit about what people can expect and why tomorrow is a WRAL Weather Alert Day.
And, you know, with this cold weather coming our way, the winter weather, we've got a low of 22 on our 7-day forecast. It's a good reminder of what Coats for the Children is all about. And tomorrow starts our winter weather threat for the season, a pretty early start for us in December. A winter weather advisory is in effect tomorrow, and this includes Durham County, Orange County, Person, Granville, Vance, Warren, as well as Halifax and Northampton counties. At this point, Wake County is not included in this. Neither is Franklin County. We will let you know if this is expanded at all. The next update to the forecast would come before about 4 p.m. and the National Weather Service handles the alerts like this. But let's get to our WRAL forecast. We have a 100% chance of a wintry mix in the forecast tomorrow, or at least precipitation, depending on where you live. Saturday and Sunday, a 20% chance of rain with highs back in the 50s. Tomorrow, though, we never get out of the 30s all day long. 8 a.m. we'll be waking up to likely snow, maybe some sleet still mixed in up in our northern counties north of I-85. The line of a wintry mix could reach Raleigh, but it only gets there for a very short period of time before it lifts back to the north and the cold rain really fills back in for us. You can see that by lunchtime. It's mainly cold rain across our area. And for the evening commute, much better weather conditions are expected. I would not expect any significant impacts by the evening commute. It's the morning commute. Tomorrow night, looking pretty dry for us. Any precipitation would be closer to the coast in the form of rain. Saturday, mostly cloudy to full overcast expected. And then once we get to Saturday night, some clearing will be possible, but the clouds roll right back in for the day Sunday. And Sunday, 53, our forecast high. So here's our precipitation types for tomorrow. Snow and sleet mixture up to an inch for the areas here in blue. A brief wintry mix to cold rain for the areas here in pink, and then cold rain for the areas in green. The good news with this event is I'm not seeing much of a freezing rain threat. That is good news, but we'll be watching for some travel impacts in our northern counties tomorrow, and be careful of slick bridges if you're kind of right on that line there or in pink. 47%, that's your chances of an inch or more of snow in Roxborough tomorrow. That chance much lower as you head south, including Raleigh. Here's the impacts to the day. A wintry mix mainly north of I-40 for tomorrow morning's commute. Mixing becomes less of an issue tomorrow around lunchtime as temperatures do climb above 32 for many of us. And tomorrow night, all that clears on out of here. Saturday and Sunday, just small 20% chances of a sprinkle. And then it gets really cold again next week, 22 degrees Monday night into Tuesday morning. And we'll be watching this for you throughout the overnight hours. We'll keep you updated here on WRAL and WRAL News Plus. I'll have a closer look at Futurecast. A new run should be in about half an hour. That's coming up on WRAL News Plus this afternoon.
Have our apps downloaded and have those notifications set. Thank you, Kat. Seal of approval. A pet-friendly bar is getting a lot of positive feedback for its open door policy.
Here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers. We have 1, 14, 20, 46, 51. The Powerball is 26 and the multiplier is 3. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. NCDOT is prepping the roads ahead of the potential for winter weather tomorrow. It is why it's a WRAL weather alert day for Friday. The system arrives late tonight and targets some of our northern counties. Sky 5 has already captured trucks brining the major interstates and bridges to help with icy conditions in the morning. We will bring you team coverage on the air tomorrow morning starting at 4 a.m.
A judge has to set a court date to consider new motions from the defense team for the teenager charged in the Hedingham shooting. It'll be held on January 5th. The status hearing was held this morning, and Austin Thompson was not present. His attorney mentioned she intends to file more pretrial motions. One of them is expected to be related to trying to hide certain evidence. Thompson's trial is set for February 2026.
A man charged with killing 3 of his children and a stepchild will face the death penalty if convicted. Within the last hour, Wellington Dickens appeared before a judge. Investigators say Dickens called 911 in October to confess to the crimes. Police found his children in the trunk of the family car in the garage. Dickens is being held without bond. He is due back in court in March.
A new list reveals the names of popular people and places that were commonly mispronounced this year. So, New York City's incoming mayor, Zohran Mamdani, and the famed Paris museum, the Louvre. They were the top 2. The mayor was most commonly mispronounced, and people swapped the M and the N in his last name. I mean, it's fair if you look at where they're positioned, right? As for the Louvre, the correct pronunciation has a very soft pronunciation on the R sound there.
Yeah, Louvre. That's how the French would say it. A seal waddles into a bar. No, it's not the introduction to a joke. It really happened in New Zealand. Customers were enjoying craft beers when the baby seal slid inside, looking scared and confused. The bar is known for being pet friendly, but no one expected this. One man tried to use a sweater to coax it outside. Instead, it escaped into a restroom. Another customer went home to grab a dog crate and lured it inside using pieces of salmon.
I think everyone thought it was a dog at first because we're a dog-friendly establishment. And then I did a double take and I was like, oh,